Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Pre-Port on an auspicious day, the birthday of Bernie Sanders. Happy birthday, Bernie Sanders. So, a little behind-the-scenes info. I wasn't going to have a pre-show today because, as you might be noticing right now, I'm not in the studio. We lost power yesterday at the studio for a bit. That's why I did the main show at home, and we expected that the power would be back up and running the next day. So I went to the studio this morning, and then the power dropped out right as we were doing our production meeting. So I've rushed home. We've been producing the show. They're still hard at work doing that right now. So there really wasn't time to prep a full pre-show. But then I realized if I don't do a pre-show, you guys will have no idea why, and I'll be leaving you hanging. So I thought maybe we'd just chat for a few minutes. Also, I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen with the watch list. It should be coming up very soon, in just a couple of minutes, and I'm hoping that it will. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure that as many of you knew as possible what's going on. So, we're going to have the full show. Francesca Fiorentini is going to be joining me in a little bit, so you know it's going to be fun. We've got this amazing interview with AOC. We've got an excuse for Francesca to do her Greta Thunberg impersonation, so you know it's going to be fun. So I thought for now, why don't we talk about Bernie Sanders? You know, it is his birthday. I think it is safe to say that many people who watch the Young Turks, many people on the left, probably got into politics. If not directly because of Bernie Sanders, because of the movement that he sort of kickstarted in American politics. You know, his run for the presidency starting in 2015 was absolutely huge for so many people. It inspired a lot of eventual candidates. I mean, I don't know what the status of the squad would be. Maybe some of them would have run for office anyway. In terms of like activists, I'm seeing this video, Howard Schultz right now talking about the Starbucks Union Drive. It's like it's not going to be really important historically. Would that have been the same? I don't know. Look, there's been great leftist activism for some time. Bernie Sanders does not have a monopoly on that, but I do think he's been pretty significant. Hold on really fast. Bonnie says, did John highlight his hair? It looks amazing. I very much did not highlight my hair. It just looks this way because I haven't put anything in it yet. I'm going to put product before the full show. Anyway, John has the power. I do. So it looks like the watch list might not be live. Yeah, it's a difficult situation when abruptly, it says, due to a power outage, we're not able to bring you the watch list today, but we'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know why. There's something with that neighborhood. Look, the neighborhood that we broadcast in has a lot of studios in it, and I don't know if the power draws too much sometimes, but power outages are unfortunately more common than one would hope. May Money says, morning, I started the grind over an after work beer. I like it so far. Well, thank you. May Money's referencing The Grind, which is my latest short story, which is available at patreon.com/John Iadarola. It is a sci-fi adventure-y short story with some horror elements. The first half is now released. The second half is coming, and that gets much more into the somewhat grotesque horror aspect. But anyway, that's available to Patreon as well as a number of other stories. Patreon.com/John Iadarola. Thank you, Alexander. I appreciate that. I don't want to leave you hanging. Gnome Chumpstini says, your thoughts on Keffel's advocating for swatting to other people. Was that karma? What happened to her? I am not familiar with her ever advocating for swatting, so I'm going to need some documentation on that. Need more dead space. It's got a little bit of that. Actually, a little bit, actually. I remember a moment in Dead Space that involved a needle and an eye. That was sort of on my mind. Anyway, John, get a whiteboard and do your own watch list. Well, this is shiny. In the hut, I have a whiteboard. There is a hut there. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit more about Bernie Sanders. I have had the good luck, I guess, of being able to meet Bernie Sanders a time or two. Look, I've never had like a long conversation with him. I've been able to ask him a couple of questions in interviews, and Bernie is pretty much the person that he seems to be, and he's been consistently like that for literally decades. You might dislike a good number of different things about him, as you might with any politician, but he doesn't have that sliminess at all. There are things that I would tweak about him, but I don't know, it's nice to have politicians that not only share some of your values and share some of your policy goals, but actually seem, like the real deal, as D. Holbert says. Are you a redhead, John? Under that light, you look like I'm not a redhead. I do still have some purple hair dye in my bathroom, actually. PG&E doesn't want us to use appliances during the day, kind of hard because they ain't got no laundry. Yeah, we get messages in California pretty much every day asking us to turn off the power. I got the fist bump Bernie back in 2020. Probably the only good thing for me that entire election cycle. Look, that election cycle, man, I really did feel like at one point like he was going to win. Everything really seemed to be lining up. And then unfortunately it didn't happen. But look, the good thing is that we still have Bernie Sanders. And looking to the future, when we'll have more talks about this, I don't know what's going to end up happening with Bernie Sanders. I don't know if he's going to run for president in 2024 or if Biden doesn't. And I know some people, even big fans of Bernie Sanders, think that it's time for someone else to fill, that position. And look, I honestly think I'm not interested in only having one progressive run in the primary. I mean, look, I think that they should consolidate by the time the actual voting starts or shortly after the first or second state or whatever, but I want to have as many progressives as possible. Think about what it would be like to have a debate stage where you have your Buttigieg and you have your Harris or whatever, and you don't just have one person making progressive comments, but you have the bulk of the people on the stage driving the conversation and making the centrists look like the radicals that they are. Happy birthday, Bernie, but he hella old too. He's on the older side. Look, I will say, I feel like Bernie Sanders from 2016 and 2020, he slowed down a little bit in terms of the vigor, but I don't feel like since then, the year and a half or 2 years since then, I don't feel like he's significantly changed. Maybe he's settled into that old man groove. Maybe in 2024 it'd pretty much be like what he was in 2020. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, with that said, I do have to go continue the prep for the show. We have a full Damage Report show for you, despite the fact that I will be broadcasting from home. You'll have the full first hour. You'll have the aftermath. So that'll be awesome. Francesca Fiorentini will be joining me. Now is when I would normally tell you to go to the Twitch or to the Watchlist YouTube channel to, go and support JR and watch an awesome show. You've got about an hour until the Damage Report starts. You're probably wondering what you should do. You know what? You could probably read The Grind in that time. So if any of you want to go, patreon.com/John Idarola, you can read that story. Oh, also, I've started producing these promotional images for social media of them. And what I want to do is, recognize people who are part of the Patreon who leave comments. And so if you leave a comment on that or one of the other stories, I might quote it in some of these graphics, and I'll give you a little shout out. But anyway, full show coming up in a little bit. It's going to be awesome. We're going to make it worth your while. We're going to give you 2 hours worth of show in 90 minutes. That's my promise to you, and a lot of fun along the way. So I will see you in 57 minutes.